Hey, and welcome to the channel. It's Brandon with Tico's Cards, and today we're going to be talking about ordering cards from Japan, my experience, so you can make a decision on whether or not you want to order cards for your personal collection for you to open or resell on eBay, open your own website, whatever the case may be. So last year in 2025, I decided to go on a venture and I found my supplier pretty quick. Followed Pokieani's guide. Basically, you just go on Instagram, you search up Japanese Pokemon cards. The thing with this is you're gonna have a lot of them that populate. Some might be real accounts, some might be fake accounts. So that's gonna be your job to vet your supplier, so to speak. When you search on Facebook, Japanese Pokemon cards, you're gonna have a bunch of groups that pop up, and some of the suppliers are admins, and that's kind of how I found I joined a Facebook group, and after doing some research, I was kind of lurking for about a week and a half, and I messaged a couple of people and got their price list. Now, another thing too is like when you get their price list, some products may or may not be a little bit higher or lower than others. So what you got to take into consideration is how much does this guy or girl sell. I didn't find my supplier on Instagram, but he does have an Instagram account. I went on Facebook, joined a Facebook group. I lurked a little bit for about a week and a half. And then I started messaging people, seeing other customers' reviews of people that they imported cards from. And then I started putting my feelers out there to email and see how quick the person responds. For me, I decided to stay up a little bit later. That way I could do my correspondence. And if I needed to get a question answered right away, they were able to do it. And also another thing you got to look into is their professionalism, because some of these sellers, they'll have multiple people using the account. So you're not always going to get the same person every time when you talk to them. I never really noticed a real difference between Facebook and Instagram with talking to my supplier and other suppliers that I have ordered from. I have a good working relationship with my current one. Every time I reached out to him, he's pretty responsive. He's even helped me with an issue that we're going to be going over with DHL, which is this is going to be the bad side of getting into this realm of importing and exporting. And I say importing and exporting because it goes both ways, whether you import products or export products. When you've searched up all your supplier, you got a few personal leads, so to say, you want to go down the road of actually purchasing. Most suppliers in Japan, they'll take PayPal or Wise. PayPal, there's a 5% fee, but you have a lot more protection with buying through PayPal. Wise is a direct bank-to-bank transfer. You don't pay a fee. Well, correction. You do pay a fee. It's nowhere near 5% like what PayPal is. My last transaction on Wise I paid $6. I'm not ordering a crazy amount. What I order is in the realm of what I'm willing to take a loss on if the supplier decides to run away with my money. These are questions you have to ask whether or not you are going to be okay with if something happens, like DHL, for instance. I've been wanting to make this video for a while now because it has been since August dealing with this. This is a $6,600 check from DHL. It came in immediately after I had ordered cards and they were shipped. This was back during August when they were ordered before August, and the de minimis rule was still in effect. And then, which the de minimis rule is, you used to be able to order anything under $800 and not get charged customs. So what ended up happening, cards came in, they got delivered to my house, no problem. Then I get a bill. These were ordered in July, so that's where it was before the de minimis rule. And I didn't order any cards in August, so that's a correction to the previous statement. The bill came in August. This bill coming in, when you import cards, it goes through customs, or if you import anything, from outside the United States, it has to go through customs. The customs agent, when he searched he opened the box, did his inspection, he saw the amount that was claimed on the shipping document. So what he did, he saw the 66,600 X amount of dollars in yen. And back then, the fees coming from Japan to the United States is 10%. So what did I get? I got a $6,000 bill. If you want to get down into the nitty gritty, you have to be willing to accept this level of risk. And because for one, I'm good with my paperwork, and I knew that this could be a possibility, mistakes happen. So fast forward to after getting the bill, I immediately filed a claim with DHL. So fast forward after getting the bill, I immediately filed a claim with DHL. It went back and forth for about a week to a week and a half. The customer service rep that I talked to, and I explained the situation to her, she was very, very understanding and was more than willing to assist me in this process, so to say. She told me what I needed to do, what kind of documentation I needed, and this is where like having everything, all your ducks in a row helps out, because I had to email them bank statements. And for this, I had ordered it on PayPal for whatever reason why I didn't use Wise at the time. But I think it was because I wasn't home. I was out doing something, some sort of training, but I know I wasn't here in Texas for that amount of time. So PayPal for me was easier, and I didn't have a laptop, so I just used my phone. I had to provide all that documentation. And my supplier, who was immediately, once this happened, I reached out to him, and he's like, hey, what do you need? Or what can I do from my end, from his end? And with like going back and forth, we were able to come to an agreement. Everything he did on his end was how it needed to be done. So I decided to fight with DHL now. Fast forward to January, and this is where you need to be persistent, because you are literally a small fish in a big pond when it comes to dealing with DHL. And not only did I have to worry about the holidays, the new fiscal year back then, it was a mess. And I'm still, want to be 100% transparent with you, still dealing with this. They have not given me a resolution to this bill, right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm still fighting it. But the good news is it got sent to customs, and I'm waiting to hear back from them. The lady that's been handling my case, I spoke to her about 2 weeks ago, and she says that is a good sign that all your documentation got forwarded to customs. They're working through the process. They're backed up. So here we are. I'm making a video on it just to educate anybody who wants to get in this type of business where you want to import Japanese cards. I understand some people, YouTube, whatnot, TikTok, whatever the case may be, they might not have ran into this issue. And I happen to be the one that it happened to. So with the de minimis rule now not being in effect, you have to pay tariffs on everything. With the de minimis rule not being in effect, you pay tariffs on everything, whether you spend $1 or $10,000. On my website, you're not paying any tariff fees. They are all incorporated in the prices. My website's been like that since I opened it. I opened it last year. I know it's been a while since I have actually physically had inventory come back in because of dealing with DHL, but now we are rocking and rolling. www.tigoscards.com. When you find your supplier and you want to make your purchase, he's got a nice full Excel spreadsheet that, hey, I want this, 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 and this. You send him what you want a price quote on, and he will come back with a list of like what it's going to cost and your duty fees, a buyer's fee, and then shipping. One thing you want to make sure that your supplier is doing is he's putting DDP, delivery duty paid, versus DAP, delivered at place. Delivery duty paid means your supplier or the person selling you the cards pays the duty fees up front on his end. So that's why my supplier, in my case, charges me, he pays DHL when he ships the cards. Delivered at place, DAP, you're entitled for the customs. You're entitled to pay the tariffs on the cards at port of entry or a specific location. Here in Texas, if that is the case, you would be paying them at Austin, considering my location is Fort Hood, because that is where they come into, and that's where customs does all their paperwork and stuff. So I would have to pay at the customs office or the DHL office in Austin. Again, this video was not to scare anybody. This was more of an informative video to show how to get cards from Japan, what you need to do, and I'm here talking about it. And like I said, I might have been one person that this happened to out of everybody else that is buying cards from Japan. But you still need to know the risk of doing so. And if this is educational to somebody, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more educational content. Now getting back to what we're starting this video or this series for is the TCGPlayer account. My account is still under review. I don't know why this one is taking so much longer than the first one I had. First one I had the account up and running in 2 days. This one is taking way more time. And I got an email last night. So hopefully with me doing the verification process, again, everything is smooth sailing. Cards are still uploaded. Like I said, I haven't done any sales because the account is still in review. But once sales start coming in, I'm going to start recording them. That way you can see a day by day on how sales are done, whether we're going to have a profit or a loss. I'm only using that TCGPlayer account. I'm not going to include the other TCGPlayer account with the sales or my eBay account until we grow that TCGPlayer up to where it needs to be. If you want to buy singles, I have singles linked to my other TCGPlayer account on my website, ticoscards.com. But yeah, this was just an informative video on if you want to get into this business, you have to be aware of the consequences of a $6,000 bill. Have a good one.